What's up, solutionaries? Welcome to the Maj 2 Ray show. I appreciate you all for tapping in. It is time for us to have a discussion about New York City, the city of dreams. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Y'all know the routine. Come on in, tap in, tap in, tap in. Posting something real quick. I want everybody to tap in. Boom. Had to update something. What's up, y'all? It is October the 16th, Thursday, the year 2025. Allegedly, because we don't really know. Ain't that what they say in the Matrix? You guys know I am Maj 2Ray, the host of the Maj 2Ray show. Socialism set to sweep New York City. Mamdani's 87% lead over Cuomo. This shit looking crazy. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. This shit looking crazy. I didn't think it was going to be this. I really didn't. But it's looking insane in New York right now. Insane. Y'all know the routine. Come in. Let me know where you're watching from. If you're watching on YouTube, comment in the chat. If you're watching on X, hit the repost button. We got to talk about this New York City mayoral race. I ain't see this coming, y'all. I didn't see this coming at all. I just knew. I knew that. I thought Eric Adams was going to tap in. I really thought Eric Adams was going to be a part of it. I don't really know the full reasons, and we can talk about it tonight. I don't know the full reasons why Eric Adams kind of dropped out. I definitely know that it's just starting to feel like they want New York City to fall, Mamdani, the socialist, to take it over. As soon as I seen Eric Adams fall, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that Eric Adams is the best guy. Not saying that at all. Okay? Not saying that at all. But what I am saying is Eric Adams is definitely better than Mamdani. And when Eric Adams dropped out, because I'm like, New Yorkers not gonna go for Cuomo. Cuomo killed a lot of grandparents over there in New York. Remember that? 2020? Chosen one. Thanks for that repost. Yeah, that's what the polls say. G Coalition, the motherfucker said. Hey, he said 87%. That's what the polls say. And I'm always a little bit skeptical of polls, as y'all know. But in talking to New Yorkers and looking at the spin, and it's like Cuomo or Sliwa or whatever the fuck his name is, this ain't looking good. And I want to talk to y'all tonight about Mamdani's 1,000% a Democratic socialist. And I don't want to say that like tongue in cheek. He went on The View and said it. He's a Democratic socialist that has $250,000 worth of property ownership in fucking Uganda. He's got this over here, 7-figure situation going on over here. He's bankrolled by his parents, people, others to run for the mayor of New York. In my opinion, he's going to run it in the fucking ground, and they can accelerate the destruction of the US dollar, switch everybody over to cryptocurrency. That's where my mind goes, because I just do not see why Eric Adams tapped out and a bunch of other things. But we're going to talk about all of that tonight, guys. You guys also know that we are fundraising. We fundraise. We do the show Monday through Friday. We are fundraising to keep our class to all. This ain't just talk. I talk on the show to communicate with you guys about what's going on, get you guys' perspective, share the talking points, sharpen the talking points. You guys tap in. Iron sharpens iron. But this goes back into work, our community center work, our Second Amendment work, our conflict resolution work, actual work in improving the individual that improves himself, his community, and all that other good stuff. That's our work. We are now 400 and I think 40 more $100 donors away. We got 16 days left. This is a lot. This is a small amount of time, but we need everybody's help. So you get some value from the show tonight. I want you to 1,000% go over to givesendgo.com/solutionary, scrolling right under you, and support the work. Obviously, you guys know we try to get 10 people to give super chats. If you're doing this on YouTube and you don't bang with Give, Send, Go like that, 10 super chats at $20. Please promote a small business. If you're doing a super chat, put you up on the screen. If you know a small business, if you have a small business, I want to shout you out. I want to keep it in the stream so when people watch for however many years on the YouTube channel, people can come support your work or support someone that you know that's doing good work. But anyway, that's all of the homework. That's all of the housekeeping for tonight. Let's get into this. I want to read this article right here from y'all from Yahoo News. We're going to read this one real quick, okay? New York City mayoral race. Betting odds on for Mamdani, Cuomo, and Sliwa. Zohran Madmani leads New York City's mayoral race in both the polls and betting markets. Now, first, let me stop right there. Let me say this first. I'm not one of those people that's saying because he got a funny, what we might think is a funny sounding last name, that he shouldn't be the mayor of New York. New York is an immigrant fucking town. People come from all over the world, and it's a port city. It's the biggest city in the world. It's the financial capital of America, like, and potentially the world, right? Outside of gold and the Vatican and shit like that. But I'm not one of these people that's saying he shouldn't have the opportunity to be the mayor of one of America's best and most powerful cities. Not saying that. I am, however, saying that that should be based on your actions and skill set. And somebody advocating for democratic socialism don't fit to me. But I got a bunch of notes for y'all tonight and why this is dangerous. Why this conversation is stupid. Why this conversation for entertaining democratic socialist bullshit is even a conversation for real, for real. Okay? Want to remind y'all all, though, we do got 16 days. 16 days to reach our fundraising goal, so I'm going to be bombarding y'all with that shit the whole time, today and tomorrow, because I won't see y'all on the weekend. The work ahead is bigger than ever, and this conversation tonight is going to explain to you guys why it's so big. Pause. Okay? Zohran polling at 87% over Cuomo shows just how deep socialism roots have become in New York City, the head of alleged capitalism, free market enterprise, the market, the stock market, New York Stock Exchange. How deeply entrenched democratic socialism, you got the AOCs, you got this, you got the squad, you got all of that energy coming out of New York. The fact that any poll, even the made up ones, some of them, the polls are goofy, no doubt. But when they go, the numbers, the spread is this big, it's a little bit of truth to it at minimum. But Zohran, whatever, polling at 87% over Cuomo, who was a governor, who was a mayor, what I mean by that is who has been in a political seat, just shows extremely how socialism roots have grown in NYC. And this is not just their fault, the left and them ignorance and all that other shit. It's not just that. It's us on the right. If y'all tapped into the show last night, we talked about some of the goofy group texts that now pundits on the right are yet again still defending. The same stupid shit. But all of this is connected. But let's read a little bit more. Betting odds heavily favor Mamdani, with most markets giving him an 85% chance to win. Again, these are polls and these are, fucking early estimates. And because I don't want nobody to start jumping out there like, Maj, you believe in polls? Like, come on. We're talking about something. Okay? However, a recent poll suggests Andrew Cuomo has gained support since Mayor Adams dropped out of the race. Now, in my opinion, Eric Adams was either paid to drop out of the race, he tapped out of the situation, he got the situation dropped from the Trump administration when he got in, because he saw the bullshit. Trump saw the bullshit. But the federal thing was bullshit. The backdoor games happened. And maybe one of those handshakes was, look, this is what we need you to do. If we plug you with Trump, you get out of this federal situation, maybe you fall back off of that. This is my theory. It's no fact to this. But when he dropped out, 1,000% more people were going to go towards Cuomo because he has had experience in those connections in New York, as well as Mamdani is a fucking clown. He's a democratic socialist. This isn't like rocket science. If you're a socialist, a democratic socialist that gets up there and tries to package this as this nicety nice thing, as we all have fucking phones, right? As we all got 1,000 bajillion phones, we all can go, Democrat socialism. That's stupid. Historically, that hasn't worked. Duh. So some of those A little bit smarter people are going to go, Eric Adams out, I'm going Cuomo. Election day is just 3 weeks away in the New York City mayoral race. It's coming down to the wire between Queens Assembly member Zohran Madmani, former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo, and Republican candidate Curtis Sliwa. By the numbers, while most polls heavily favor Mamdani, what do the betting odds suggest? What we got? What's somebody doing? They're trying to take me back somewhere else? What's happening? Polymarket has Mamdani at 88% chance to win a race, followed by Cuomo at 11%. New York City Mayor Eric Adams, who abruptly dropped out of the race last month, is at 1%. Republican candidate Curtis Sliwa resides at under 1%. Kaushi has similar odds with Mamdani at 87, Cuomo at 13, and both Adams and Sliwa under 1%. Odds Checker has Mamdani at down negative 1250 to win, which means you need to wager $1,250 to win 100. If Mamdani wins, Cuomo is at plus 600, which means if you wager 100 and Cuomo wins, you get 600. Sliwa is at plus 5,000. Dig deeper. According to the Quinnipiac University poll, Cuomo has gained momentum since Adams dropped out, reshaping what once looked like a settled race. The poll shows Mamdani leading with 46% of likely voters. Cuomo follows at 33%, and Sliwa trails with 15% support. Let me say this real quick, y'all. A Republican presidential win doesn't mean the fight is over and the culture war is still raging. And the example of this is simply this. If you are talking about, hey, we got a Republican president in office, and all of that energy that the Trump campaign 1,000% pushed and campaigned on through 2024 into the early stages of 2025, into November and December, once he became the president, all of that energy is dead. That energy is 1,000% dead. So since that energy is dead, if it would have stayed alive, it might have transformed into some Sliwa energy. But do you know why it doesn't? Because Republicans win one thing on the federal tip and they tap out every single place else. Okay? This culture war that they say they're about, that they're focusing on a national level, they haven't, while motherfuckers, young Republicans is talking about hating Jews, gas ovens, black people are monkeys, and watermelon people, as the young Republicans between the ages of 18 and 40, and the vast majority of the people on them group chats that we made the show about last night were between 27 and 38. That's who, it's not kids, it's not children, not goofy kids, boys will be boys. These are people in political positions that are supposed to be galvanizing to get Sliwa, to get Republicans in control of New York City. But they're not. They're not. They're ignoring completely. While they're talking about this so-called culture war, they are losing legislation in a literally, personally, on the biggest daytime television talk show, The View, politician has said, I am a democratic socialist. But instead of y'all focusing on that, you're A, championing Republicans that are having private conversations about constituents, other Americans, in a disparaging way. A lot of Jewish folk in New York City, a lot of Jewish money in New York City, but you're not having that conversation. You ain't talking about policy. You ain't talking about none of that. You got a democratic socialist about to be in control, talking about free this and free that. And don't get me wrong, I am a fan of voluntarism and voluntary support. I am a fan of philanthropy. Black Guns Matter work has happened because of cooperative economics, people voluntarily choosing to say, okay, I'll pitch into some of that. No government grants. We never even filled out for any. Democrat, Republican, nope, that's not our money. It's not our money. If y'all want us to have the money and for us to finish our fundraising, 440 more donors is the 100 is what's needed. If y'all have it and continue, y'all will. We living by that free market. If I fail, if we get this far, we 16 days away, I fail with under $50,000 left. That's a failure that I got. That's an L that I got to hold based on the market. My lack of telling y'all how important this is, my lack of being repetitive, whatever that reason is. Okay? But The young Republicans, and Republicans aren't talking about that culture war. They still having conversations that transgenders should not have firearms, as if the Second Amendment is not clear. They're still being contradictory in their conversation, talking about the culture war because they trapped in the culture war because Andrew Breitbart said politics is downstream from culture. And what that means is, in reality, what that means is the politics will be in alignment if the culture is one of civic ignorance, federal in focus and not local focus, then you're going to get hijacked. Because the culture from the right isn't be involved in local politics, be involved in civic engagement. Make sure that a fucking democratic socialist does not run the money in New York, the already overregulated city. Now, on one hand, one could say, of course a democratic socialist would run in New York. They love Democrats in New York. No, New York City kind of likes Democrats, but not really. They loved Trump before he ran for office. Same person, just with a different letter in front of his name. So it's possible. And when he ran overwhelmingly and did them bodega tours all over the country this last run, when he did that, and overwhelmingly in the Bronx, Queens, Brooklyn, all of these different places showed up to support. So it's not that they don't like the possibility of a Republican mayor. That's not true. What actual Republican candidates have been presented, supported, highlighted, and sanctioned while your pundits are talking about defending racist death jokes? I'm so glad, and I'm going to mix some of last night's conversation with today, right? I'm so glad that I saw so many of y'all that are followers of mine stand up for the right thing. I'm so glad for that. That y'all was like, I'm on the right, and I'm not saying cancel culture, but I can't get behind this shit. You got this goofball Myron talking about, yeah, we love Hitler and not the Jew. We hate all of that stupid shit. Okay? They love that. Democrats there love that. Because the Democrats that were moderates, not extreme leftists, that were like, I don't know about this Democrat thing. As soon as they are politically homeless, looking for a new place to go, politically, the pundits on the right, damn near like they're being paid by somebody, says the most stupid shit in the world. Yeah, these are just kids being kids. The vice president of the United States said that after a few months ago saying, if somebody says something offensive about Charlie Kirk, call them out. Hell, call their employer. But then turn around and says this. They've put no energy into the Republican candidate that's getting his ass beat that needs funding in the city of New York. You Republicans, or us on the right, because I'm a libertarian, I identify as on the right politically, even though I'm not a Republican. I have certain conservative values, limited government values. There's an overlap between libertarians and actual conservatives that way. I don't want the government in my shit. You know what Republicans are supposed to say. But none of these folks have been having this conversation because half of them are defending goofballs. And I'm so proud of some of y'all that at least stepped up and say, I'm not down with that. And I was also happy that I watched so many people that I follow still. I got them on mute. I had respect for them, a little bit of respect. Literally, absolutely destroy their own standard. Literally champion. If I see you highlighting Nick Fuentes, the same person that's like, I don't want to be around black people, and I see you keying it up with them, that tells me a lot about your mindset. I lose respect for you. There's a free market of ideas. You are welcome to have them on whatever. You can repost them. You can do whatever. Do whatever. If that's one litmus test for me. If then at the same time you go, we're tired of leftists calling us names and Nazis, so we're going to go, oh, damn near be Nazi, that tells me that you don't have no fucking principles. I just posted something. If you guys are watching me on X, hit the repost button, guys. I want to read this to y'all real quick before we move on, because I don't want to make it too much about this, but it's interconnected. Just maybe 20 minutes ago or so, right before I came on the show, I said, it shows how some of you never had principles, had standards, had others totally dependent on you, executing standards and principles to a high degree. That's why you think blaming your shit mindset, actions, and behaviors is justified by what the left does. No, sweetie pie. The standard is the standard. But you marshmallows wouldn't know nothing about that. Why? Because you've never been in the street, military, jail, or any area that your actions dictated if you or your people lived, or not. Hell, most of you don't even know the responsibility of carrying a fucking gun daily. You've just been able to hop online and talk. Of course you're unprincipled. You're a wad of cookie dough that's never been tested. Most of the people that are not getting active locally, the founders to America were damn it, they had trades, they were intellectuals, they were involved in the civic process. They were. On a local level, there was entire arguments between the Federalists and the Anti-Federalists. I understand the reason for ratifying the Constitution. And, I understand that if that system of checks and balances is super tight and limits government, which it has failed to do, I understand why some people was like, well, maybe. But I'm more of a 10th Amendment, states' rights, state individuals got their own local thing, me personally. With that being said, it's been interesting watching some of you non-principle having motherfuckers that I follow. And you follow me. I've been watching you defend all of this stupid shit by these goofballs over here, but you've said nothing about Mamdani at an 80, let's say 85% across the board on poly market. And the betting spaces, I trust them better than the so-called polls. Call me crazy. Okay? Y'all have said nothing about this race where a democratic socialist is about to be in control of the biggest city in America, the financial capital, again, potentially of the world. Well, he's openly saying this, but you're talking about winning the culture war because politics is downstream from culture. But you didn't develop a culture of civic engagement, intelligence, limited government. You didn't. And now you're just fighting the culture war, talking about what bathroom somebody gets to go to, or trannies are crazy, so let's not give them guns. This is the stupidest shit in the world. But y'all like bad tactics. Y'all don't like calling out the bad tactics amongst the ranks because you've never been tested. You've never been held to a standard. You a marshmallow. Matt Walsh is a marshmallow. Just because you get on behind a microphone and put on a flannel and got a cutely manicured beard and sit around with the other ink people, okay, and drink brandy and smoke cigar, that shit don't make you real. Ain't never did a hard day's work in your life. Your theories and your talk behind the microphone is never tested. It's no reason to test it because you got a comfortable air-conditioned set. You're in a nice little set. Anyway, Cuomo's gained momentum since Adams dropped out, reshaping what looked like a settled race. In Quinnipiac's previous survey on September the 10th, when Adams was still in the race, Mamdani had 45%. Cuomo 23%, Sliwa 15%, and Adams 12%. The new numbers suggest Cuomo picked up most of Adams' supporters, because a lot of those people are fucking intelligent, a little bit older. We like this guy. Cuomo, we ain't fucking with him, but we like Adams better. But if Adams is gone, da-da-da-da-da-da. The new numbers suggest Cuomo picked up most of Adams' supporters, but still trails Mamdani by double digits, underscoring a race that has shifted on the surface, but not in structure. The numbers change, but the contours of the race haven't, said Mary Snow, assistant director of the Quinnipiac University poll. Andrew Cuomo picked up the bulk of Adams' supporters, cutting into Zohran Madmani's lead. But Mamdani's frontrunner status by double digits stays intact. You were not fighting to save America. You were fighting to throw away your principles, to own the left, and so-called win the culture war. Bookworm says, imagine if Matt Walsh was as loud about the Republican candidate in NYC instead of always having black people in his mouth. Pause. Imagine that. Imagine if Steven Crowder did some of the Scott Pressler work in New York and said, we have a Republican candidate instead of going to debate all of the time. And then we would look at their contradictions back to back. Because these people that just said It's healthy for us to go into black spaces, to go into the barber shops, to go to HBCUs, to have a healthy debate with stupid 19-year-olds. They said it was healthy. And then as soon as people started critiquing people on the right for this group chat leaking, what did they say? Republicans need to not debate each other and argue the merits of points publicly. They need to address people privately. You cool for open debate with stupid left university teenagers, but you don't like quality debate with people on your own side when you're doing a tactic that's stupid. Like I said for the longest time, I don't want to debate none of you motherfuckers. I did that. If you go Google, you want to see my debate game? Go YouTube, Maj Toure Vice debate. See what happened to her, the executive vice president of the Gun Violence Prevention for America. See what happened to her. I don't need to debate. Come on, I'm from the John Henrik Clark cloth. I debate my equals. All others I teach. Why would I be debating a leftist? We already beat them. But you know what happens after you beat them? The right doesn't want to solve the issue. Or Matt Walsh doesn't want to solve the issue. They don't want solutions. They're not solutionaries. They want to go just enough. And then once Mamdani's in, then they're going to complain about Mamdani being a Democrat socialist. Because that's all they do is talk. That's all they do is talk. Adams did drop out around the time they brought up the chick he was dealing with. He did. Guys, support the work. If you're getting some value from the show, support the work. This is another thing that I want to keep harping on. The feel-good conversation is great, guys. I fuck with it, right? I wasn't going to do the show until November the 1st because we got 16 days left to hit a goal. We behind. We can have these feel-good conversations and we can sharpen the talking points and all of that, but support the work. There's 239 of you watching. First of all, 239 of you should have hit the like button. That's number one. Number two, however many people is watching on X, all of y'all, however many people is watching on X, you should be hitting the repost or quote button. That's free. See, we can get on the right and they stupid ass shit. This is where people get mad at me. Because then I go, we can agree with me talking about the right and goofy conservatives, but what about us? How many of you have supported our work at givesingo.com/solutionary? We need 440 $100 donors. Or give what you can. Everybody over $25, I'm going to give you access to one of the online classes. Give it away to somebody else. Help the work. See, and this is what we got to be. This is the standard. Just like Matt Walsh don't want us saying, yo, that defending goofballs talking about killing people, that's stupid. And it's contradictory that we just called for cancel culture when leftists said, made fun of, jokes, and celebrated, which is still all words. They didn't attack anybody. They used all words. We was just calling for cancel culture from them. So when we call that contradiction and the goofball fake conservatives get mad, well, don't get mad at me when I say, yo, we need help. We need help to keep our actual work going. We would like for people with big platforms like the Matt Walshes, like all of this conversation is happening right now. How many of them have consistently used their platform to put a Republican in New York City's halls of power? Then we all agree that none of them are doing it. I'm saying, I'm challenging all of you that it's the same thing. Yo, I fuck with Maj. Yo, I'm glad he didn't not do the show because he's still got to keep him a little bit shorter, but he's doing the show, even though we know he's been busting his ass for 8 years. No government grants, no handouts, all from the muscle and voluntarism. We at the last stages of this. So if you haven't supported that, I'm going to call you out and say, yo, please support that work. You don't got to give $500,000. Give 50, give 100, whatever. We can't just keep talking the talk all of the time. I hear a lot. I seen my man say, yo, I'm going to grab that hoodie. I seen him say that. He DM'd me, said the word merch on my Instagram post. Follow me on Instagram, Big Daddy Toure. Yo, I'm going to get that. I'm going to get a couple of hoodies. I'm going to get them for over $100 so I can get the free shipping. Went back and forth with him in the DM because I'm accessible that way. Didn't buy nothing. And then I seen him in the stories at the strip club. True story. This is the same type. Now we get into politics and the politicians that our culture is promoting. Meaning, our culture is not, Yo, instead of me going to the strip club with that $800, $1,000, let me pinch off 100. Let me pinch off. Look, I got $100 extra. I'm gonna pinch from that. Let me put 25 to King Randall and what he doing with X for Boys. Let me put $25 down to Auntie Angie's house down in Georgia, where she's helping those mothers that don't want to get an abortion but don't see another way out. Let me put $25 there. Let me put $25 to a small business locally. Let me put $25 to BGM and that work. That's a culture. You know why I love the Jews and how they operate? Why everybody's hating Jews right now. I don't like the Israeli government. But you know what I like about Jewish culture? And that does not just mean Ashkenazi Jews, Sephardic too. Okay? I love that they keep their culture, their economics, their spirituality, and their finances together. I love that. I love that. All Americans should be doing that. We should be supporting freedom brands. Our money should be going in that direction. Our culture should be liberty, limited government, civics, the Constitution, and all of that. That's our culture, right? And our spirituality is whatever faith you believe in, whether that's Muslim, Hindu, Christian, whatever. America's about freedom of religion. But we got to put the actual work behind the work, okay? givesandgo.com/solutionary. But this is all very interesting. The schools in New York are some of the most socialist, like, cesspools ever. So we have a community center because we understand that, and we've hosted homeschool groups because we know that the school system is fucked. The reason for us saying let's get a solutionary center so we can keep all of those types of classes going for free based on voluntary donations, right? Because we know that the schools are government indoctrination camps. That's what they were created for. They've progressively, pun intended, progressively gotten worse over time because the progressives have had them. So-called progressives. So New York is in a regulated space. The schools remain socialist strongholds. They're literally shaping the minds against freedom, free market enterprise, and personal responsibility. Don't believe me? Don't believe me? Mamdani has already talked about, when I get in here, I'm gonna make New York City police not go after people that steal less than $1,000 worth of goods from stores. I'm not making this up. I'm not making this up. I'm not. I'm just trying to find it right now. I'm going to find it in here. But before we even find that, actually, let's go to this. This is Mamdani giving multiple chances to walk back his language that he wanted to tax whiter neighborhoods. All of my white Republicans, this is where your spidey sense is supposed to go up. Your solutionary sense is supposed to go. Your white privilege got to kick up right now. My black privilege kicks up at certain times. My white privilege kicks up sometimes. My shoulder privilege kicks up sometimes. My comfortable in any space privilege kicks up at certain times. Your white privilege should be right now. Zohran Madmani was given multiple chances to walk back his language that he wanted to tax whiter neighborhoods at a higher rate, but he refused to walk it back. He wants higher taxes for affluent whites. As I've said, he's a communist. He has not hid that he's commie light. Democrat socialist is a socialist. Socialism leads to communism. This is not complicated.
And realize there's a policy proposal that says your plan, and I'm going to quote it for folks, is to shift the tax burden from overtaxed homeowners in the outer boroughs to more expensive homes in richer and whiter neighborhoods. Explain why you are bringing race into your tax proposal.
Excellent question. No attack. I'm reading back to you what you said. To explain to me why you bringing race into this equation.
That is just a description of what we see right now. It's not driven by race. It's more of an assessment of what neighborhoods are being undertaxed versus overtaxed.
So no plans to change that language on your website?
The focus here is to actually ensure a fair property tax system. And that the use of that language is just an assessment of the neighborhood.
He just repeated the same thing and didn't go back. See, so like this is what let's go back way back in time to yesterday. Remember when I said everybody's like, we don't have to disavow, we don't have to we don't have to. It's a simple sentence, bro. The Marxists use the same thing. They'll say a thing, they'll word it, they kind of put it out there, they won't fall back on it. They won't go, no, that's not what I mean. So when he does it, we understand it. When people on the right are like, bro, why are you doubling down on, yeah, I'm a Nazi, Heil Hitler type bullshit? Why are you doubling down on that? Is that really what you mean? And they go, well, no, I'm just saying. There was one of these goofballs that was on, and pundits are actually defending him because he was on the stage. I think it was the same stage that Stephen A. Smith was on yesterday or today, earlier today. And his argument is, well, I mean, I don't have to. And the person asked him like, yo, do you disavow this? And Stephen Smith was like, yes. Duh. It's not complicated. Y'all got so caught up in, I'm going to do the opposite of whatever the left does, that you forgot to maintain your own principle, standard, and fucking integrity. That's because most of your pundits never had them to begin with. I believe that none of them even read the fucking Constitution before. I believe that. But they do the same thing. He just did it. Look, let's watch it again.
And realize there's a policy proposal that says your plan, and I'm going to quote it for folks, is to shift the tax burden from overtaxed homeowners in the outer boroughs to more expensive homes in richer and whiter neighborhoods. Explain why you are bringing race into your tax proposal.
That is just a description of what we see right now. It's not driven by race. It's more of an assessment of what neighborhoods are being.
If that was true, he wouldn't have had to say race because you said it in the actual languaging. No, you're appealing to Marxist folks that believe in this class/race. These are the oppressor structure. Okay? You could have said the same thing. Sometimes I say that to people. I'll be like, yo, why are you telling me what he, like, if you want to tell me what he looked like, say he got thick eyebrows. Not because I'm afraid of the race conversation. Like, come on, no. I want motherfuckers to think differently. Yo, this might be a more palpable idea if you just said, yo, why are we taxing this community more than this community and this community, as opposed to, but they're telling you what their agenda is. If you white and you anywhere near the tri-state area of New York, you definitely should be highlighting if Silwa's Republican platform and what he has on his website is more in alignment with what you believe in, you should be highlighting that. No, I'm tripping. That's not a reason to highlight it. He just told you. He just said, oh no, but not really. I just put it on my website where there's 8 people in the process of looking through everything and it gets fact checked, but it just happened to make it onto my website. Shut the fuck up.
Undertax versus overtax.
So no plans to change that language on your website.
The focus here is to actually ensure a fair property tax system, and that the use of that language is just an assessment of the neighborhood.
There is no such thing as a fair property tax assessment. See, this is where they always get the game fucked up and don't. This is where conservatives should be highlighting. I'll destroy this person if I was to debate. Property tax for what? For what? If they own the house? Why are they paying the government? Just to live there? What does the government do? What do they get for that? No, property tax shouldn't be a thing. I bet you if Silwa was talking, well, we won't know if Silwa was talking about getting rid of property tax because none of the Republicans are talking about it. You ain't talking about it. And you line yourself up on Meet the Press for this lady to simply say, why is race in this equation? Because I see a lot of people on the right say, they never ask people on the left questions about race. She literally did right there. But y'all not highlighting that. I bet you right now, most of the lives don't have nothing to do with this New York mayoral race, where a Democratic socialist is 3 weeks away from controlling all of the fucking money in the state of New York, or the city at least. None of that conversation's happening. Because y'all people stupid. Let's look, let's see what he's talking about again here. Let's see what's happening here. Let's see what's going on with our good friend Mamdani.
Mr. Mamdani,
Yeah.
you want to respond?
And if we have a health pandemic, then why would New Yorkers turn back to the governor who sent seniors to their death in nursing homes? That's the kind of experience that's on offer here today. What I don't have an experience, I make up for in integrity. And what you don't have in integrity, you could never make up for in experience.
Yes.
Cuomo ain't gonna be able to beat him. The ventilator, see, I don't suffer from goldfish ideology. Goldfish have a memory existence of 8 seconds, 7 to 8 seconds. Meaning, a goldfish, whatever it's feeling for 7 seconds, it feels that that's what it has lived its entire existence. So when a goldfish is hungry for those 7 seconds, it thinks it has been hungry its whole life. You understand? So I don't have a attention span the size of a goldfish. So I remember in the year 2020 when Cuomo told everybody to get on the ventilators, and the ventilators were killing a lot of people. He made decisions that was a lot of death associated with him. And a lot of New Yorkers, I know on a national level, some of y'all may have not been paying attention because you only pay attention to federal shit. You wasn't looking at key states, Pennsylvania, New York, Texas, Florida. 2020, I was in all of these states trying to catch COVID. I was jet skiing in Miami. All on the, that's what happened. So I remember in 2020, like a lot of New Yorkers that had people die because of the government overreach that Cuomo did. Now Cuomo got to fight from underneath that, and a Mamdani is going to remind him of that every single time. No. Bookworm said that wasn't his fault, though. It was on the doctors and nurses. No, that was his fault. Those were orders that Cuomo gave to the state. Just like Gavin Newsom told every other restaurant and winery in California, said all of y'all restaurants and wineries closed down. I'm making a governor's decree. And you could get in trouble if you don't. But Gavin Newsom's restaurant and winery stayed open the whole time. Okay? That was him. Killing people like hotcakes. And because it was him, if I'm battling him, I'll bring it up every time. There's a reason why there were a lot of people that went from when Eric Adams dropped out, they said, we're going to switch our support to Cuomo. Even though he was the harbinger of death a half a decade ago. 5 years ago, 6 years ago, he was the harbinger of death in New York. We would rather, some of the smarter people are saying, we would rather have him in position than a fucking non-tenured democratic socialist by definition and by admission. But are politicians and their pundits talking about this? No. They talking about boys will be boys. Literally, Cuomo was the Grim Reaper for a lot of people in the state of New York. His orders and ordinances made hospitals and doctors have to stick to the rule or risk being arrested. Yeah, it was that serious. I remember. Or be arrested. Okay? And then people died. Republicans should have Sliwa up there chopping him up with all of the ammo. And Sliwa, if that's your man, limited government Republican, should 1,000% his war chest should be stacked. But we're not talking about it. Because we're talking about, we need to defend the 27 to 38-year-olds calling black. It's just jokes. It's just jokes. That's what they talking about. Not putting no energy behind the New York mayoral race or the Republican GOP candidate. Not at all. G Coalition brother says 999 times 365 times 5. Let's do the math. Think about that. Mamdani, for those of y'all that don't know what those numbers represent, Mamdani is already putting together shit saying, we're going to make sure that anybody in the city of New York that steals anything under $1,000, the police aren't called. They do something like that in California. I think it's like $500. Okay? He not being nice about going 500. It's just everything's fucking higher in New York. So he's not being nice. This is what we chasing on the right. We chasing arguments about stupid shit. Shouts to the homie. Shouts to the homie, Dana. Listen to this, y'all. Listen to this. I'm tripping, though. Maj, you picking on the right.
Into one that's affordable for each and every New Yorker.
But, okay, I want to get to that, absolutely. But do you believe that Hamas should lay down their weapons and leave the leadership in Gaza?
I believe that any future here in New York City is one that we have to make sure that's affordable for all. And as it pertains to Israel and Palestine, that we have to ensure that there is peace. And that is the future that we have to fight for.
But you won't say that Hamas should lay down their arms and give up leadership in Gaza.
I don't really have opinions about the future of Hamas and Israel beyond the question of justice and safety and the fact that anything has to abide by international law. And that applies to Hamas, that applies to the Israeli military, applies to anyone you could ask me about.
That's a good answer. It's a slick, and when I mean good, I don't mean it was straightforward. I mean it was slick. Peace, justice, this, that, and the third. Mind you, he won't say that they shouldn't have guns, Hamas. He won't say that, but he's anti-gun. Zohran Madmani refuses to agree that Hamas terrorists should lay down their guns. Mamdani wants gun control here, but not for Hamas. He's anti-gun. So of course he's an anti-gun. He's a democratic socialist. Of course he is. Of course, he don't want nobody in the city of New York because he don't want the police to show up for $1,000 less than. He don't want you to have a gun to defend your shit because he's a democratic socialist that none of your pundits are talking about. Not the ones y'all listen to. Show of hands. Give me a sign in the chat. Give me a like or thumbs up or something. Name some of the conservatives or libertarian podcasts that you listen to. And let's be honest, if you still listen to Brandon Tatum, if you still listen to anybody over at the Daily Wire, if you listen to Stu Peters, if you listen to Fuentes, be honest about it, put it in the chat. But that's clown shit. I'm going to keep it a buck. Their whole platforms is clown shit. They talk about these things after the fact. Exactly. That's who Keimer Shadow talked to, or listen to, Maj Toure. And we're going to get these numbers up because right now we got rookie numbers. But I enjoy the first season of the Maj show. I enjoy having a 2, 3, maybe 4, 500 of y'all a night. Because we building something. We are developing community. And that slowly bubbles over time. These fucking extreme leftists, they didn't just pop up overnight. They slowly build and worked. Again, I use this example all of the time. Right now, we're in the first season of the Chappelle Show. We talking and communicating and sharpening our swords like nobody's watching. Because nobody's watching, other than the people that need to watch, the solutionaries, to build the thing. Okay? Because when you get large enough, then some people come offer you $75 million. And if you take it and don't do what the fuck they want you to do, you never know. Maybe they'll offer you another $150 million, and if you don't take it, we all know. Brilliance Wentz says, I tune into them to get a laugh and few real topics, but I don't follow them like that. Here's what you all should do. Stop following. Oh, it is. Today's the 30th anniversary of the Million Man March. Hey, real quick on that. I think it was actually closer to 2 million men in DC 30 years ago. This happened, right? Here's the funny part about that. As much as some of your pundits that y'all follow, see, again, I don't want y'all to think I'm only beating up on the left sometimes. I beat up on the left and the right. When whoever's wrong, they wrong. Okay? Mamdani's wrong. He's wrong for New York. He's wrong for you. He's wrong for your pundits to not express anything about him. That's that. Okay? That being the case, right? These pundits will talk about the low IQ and the crime of the blacks and all of that, right? The Million Man March had 2 million men and women, but 2 million people in in Washington, D.C., right? No crime in the city the whole time. The day before, leading up to, and a couple days after. Go Google it. Go Grok it. Whatever you use now. Chat GPT. But we're not talking about that because what's happened is the mouthpieces for the GOP and or the political punditry, long as black man bad. Black man bad. Liberty lockdown, don't tread on anyone. Those are some okay ones. Again, y'all, I'm struggling with the lack of, I'm struggling with some of the content creators and people and pundits getting behind defending the Hitler bullshit. And it's not just because I'm a black man. It's not just because of that. It's also because it's fucking scumbag shit. You mean to tell me you can't just say, that's lame? Arizona, Arkansas, Indiana, whatever Republicans these motherfuckers was from, they had enough 2,900 pages of text to talk and joke for 7 months, but nobody's been talking about Mamdani in these texts and with the target, how we going to tackle this situation. So I find it I can't give the same kudos that I might have gave to some people because I watch them and I see that, again, a lot of these people I follow and they follow me. I look at their Twitter page and they kind of like behind, well, these just kids being kids. Fuck no. It's not difficult. Like I said in my most recent post on X, you motherfuckers don't got no principles. Or this is who you really are and you just now feel more comfortable saying it. Because first Kanye said it. And Kanye had money invested. And Kanye got burnt. And Kanye was like, look, this is what's happening. Kanye went way too far with the I like Hitler shit. And that was goofy when he did it. But so he opened the door up to Pandora's box. Now everybody dick riding with the same thing, but ain't talking about no legislation. That's the theme of tonight. So I see these people damn near co-signing this stupid shit. And I know when I'm critical of them on that, they're going to say, oh, Maj, you a collectivist because you think I'm looking at it through a black man lens. No, I'm looking through a fucking Christian lens that a lot of you say you are. Jesus was joking about like, who? Jesus was like doing group chats, calling for the death of certain people. That's what happened? That's Christ-like? Oh, okay. Oh, the left called you Nazis, so now let's become them? Oh, Jesus is super proud. Shut the fuck up, bro. Shut up. There's no principles and standards. Imagine if I said to y'all, well, I was in a gay club, and I'm straight, but there was so many gay people around, and they was like, damn, you must be gay if you in this gay club. Damn, you must be gay if you're in this gay club. And then I slept with one of the men. So I let the gay dudes make me gay now? Shut up. It's the same thing. No, you is that. Or you defend that. To defend your low IQ base. And it's not principled. These are the same people that'll say, oh, the Constitution, we all Americans, da-da-da-da, and put all of that energy into that defense, but not into the democratic socialist that is comfortably leading 3 weeks ahead of a New York City election. They're not talking about that. I lose respect for a lot of this shit. Guys, we saw all of this silly shit happening, right? We saw Mamdani and Eric Adams trying to struggle. Now, this is just absolute ego on my part. We saw Eric Adams and Mamdani. Y'all remember that? They had a liftoff. And Eric Adams was like, he did this. I'm going to do this more. He couldn't get 2 or 3. I'm going to get such and such. And they had like 1 plate on the bar. In honor of that, I threw 4 plates on the bar. Physical strength, cultural strength, all of these things are important. But you know what we're not doing? We're not talking about it. Why ain't we talking about it?
Yeah.
There's they lift off.
Let's go. Yeah. Let me get 3.
That's New York City Mayor Eric Adams, and that's a guy that's running for mayor. He's super socialist. But look how weak they are. That's 135 pounds. Weak men create like weak communities and then weak cities, and then weak cities make a weak country. It's not an accident that men with soft hands push these soft-ass socialist, non-limited government policies while they pretending like they doing so much. And what do them policies get us? What they get us? Rat-infested cities, crime all over the place, socialism creeping in, and clearly Mamdani's like a socialist communist. Clearly, universal basic income. That's what happens. Now, I want to be very clear with y'all. The average American can only bench 135 pounds. All right, that testosterone, as all of the studies come out, rapidly declining. It's low key or high key a national crisis. If you can't push weight, then how the you gonna push back against tyranny? Let's say you really want to get in office and drain the swamp. You can't push back against the entrenched. Then you talking like you doing all of the work in the world. How you gonna lead anybody else? You can't. You're just gonna manipulate people like these politicians do. That's why fitness is. I ain't even got to say much more about it. What's the date on this? What's the date on this? When Big Daddy 2 Ray was saying this? What date was this? August the 24th. August the 24th. Big Daddy 2 Ray was having a conversation about Mamdani being a problem and clearly a socialist. Clearly a socialist. Ho ho, Big Rob said that looked like foam. That's not real plates. Oh, brother. Ho ho ho. Let's go back. First of all, real quick, let's deal with it. Cause the brother coming at my neck real quick, and I'm gonna take it as a sign of appreciation that I was getting them 4 plates up so easy that it looked like foam plates. Let's before we go further, let's go with this a little bit. Is this y'all got to get health and fitness in your situation too?
The central part of your training, is it running?
It look easy, don't it?
Sparring or
Central part.
3 plates right here.
Dodging the nightclubs and the parties and the girls.
That's 3. Then I get a sip of that dope.
And being in the bed by yourself at
Now we
9
get
o'clock
4.
at night. If you can get by that, you'll make it. Man, that's the truth. Man, I'll tell you the truth. You
Yeah.
saw all that running and hitting the bags and jogging and vitamins you want.
4
Dodging
plates.
ladies.
Repping. 4 plates. Repping. They struggling to get 135 up. This all connects, and I'm making light of this part, right? But yo, we gotta be strong to get rid of these decades of anti-freedom propaganda. This is not an accident. I'm joking. Y'all tap into the show. We talk about things. We, evaluate. We chop it up. We bust it up. These are great things. But we didn't get into this space like overnight. The anti-freedom propaganda will not undo itself. It's going to be daily work. It's going to be consistency. It's going to be engagement. This is what we on the right are failing to do. Okay? And I say we, I'm a libertarian. If Larry Sharpe runs for governor of New York, I'm going to help him campaign. Okay? My man Lynn said, that's AI. No, that ain't AI. That's Maj, that's MT. That's Maj Toure. You mean? We have to make sure that we're being strong, consistent, and doing the daily work, like the gym. Okay? Too many of us on the right are celebrating them small wins. And then we stop fighting. This is why I keep telling y'all, yo, I'm going to keep mashing. I wanted to stop fighting and say, yo, I'm going to just focus on fundraising until November the 1st. So give me some time. I won't do the show. I'm going to try to keep it under 45 minutes, under. No, I got to do more. I need to do more. We have to do more. These podcasts are in this shit. A Democratic socialist is about to be on in the in 3 weeks. The way that it's going, it looks like he's going to be at the reins. For whatever reason, Eric Adams tapped out. A Democratic socialist is about to be head of New York. That's the win that we won with Trump in office on the federal level, right? Which I'm not seeing what we win much of with this current Trump administration. Biden level spending even more. Trying to get into war with Venezuela. Still floating that idea of fucking around with Iran. Still sending money and or supplies in a more roundabout way, but it's still being done. We shouldn't be engaging in fucking Ukraine. MAGA looked like it turned into MEGA. So I don't know what major wins is happening. Maybe I'll give them a win on maybe the deportation fight. But then I go, well, is that really a win? Because they damn near trying to federalize the police force and slide National Guard troops and ICE into localities that governors and mayors have said, we don't want your federal thing. Remember, I said earlier, I am more of a fan of states' rights. I understand the whole federal thing, but it's over. The government is too bloated. So I don't know if I could even fully call that a win. We're getting this win with the Trump administration because we beat Kamala, who was a fucking weirdo. Now we seem to be doing all of the things that the left was doing. I contend that if Kamala would have won, at least Republicans, if she would have tried some of this shit, Republicans just out of spite would have been in opposition to it. It's looking like y'all calling for the same shit, the one world government that we railed against. Trump last week was praising the powers in the name of Pfizer. Give me another booster shot. Whether it's true or not, I don't give a fuck. You're advocating like you took another booster shot. Operation Warp Speed in his mind was still a massive success. The unbridled support for any country outside of the fucking United States of America is a massive failure in my eyes. Mine. So as soon as we get a so-called win on the right, we start chilling and stop fighting. Gun sales go down. No pro-gun legislation. Republicans got the House, the Senate, and the executive branch. And I'm going to keep saying that. We cannot give the left another fucking inch. We already beaten them. Keep going. Crush them in the dust. Ideologically, legislatively, policy-wise, political win-wise. But no, we talking about boys will be boys to justify the disrespect for Black Americans and Jewish Americans because of what the Israeli government did. The same Israeli government that the fucking Vance and Trump are aligned with. You pundits are so fucking retarded. Some of y'all on these social media platforms, y'all dick riding Trump and saying, yeah, JD Vance is right to say it's okay because them Jews. Meanwhile, the Israeli government that is AIPAC, that is infiltrated your entire fucking DC feudal system, is thoroughly supported, championed, sanctioned, and highlighted by the current administration. What the fuck type of level of obvious contradiction do y'all need to see? You're defending goofballs being disrespectful to regular everyday Jews and Black people from the GOP that is thoroughly complicit with the Trump administration giving more and more money to the Israeli government. This is why you tap into the Maj 2 ratio, because I'm going to help you connect the dots of our own contradictions. Every election, every classroom, every conversation counts. We cannot give up on New York City or our urban centers. You know how many times I was told to not do Black Guns Matter in urban areas, in blue cities? For a year straight in the beginning, man, don't go to Boston, don't go to Brooklyn, don't go to da-da-da-da. You know how many times they told me, don't go to New York? Our work for Black Guns Matter is cited in the Bruin decision. Pro-gun legislation that overturned archaic, unconstitutional, bullshit gun control laws for the state of New York. And I got told a bajillion times, don't go to New York. I did a 5-borough tour in New York the earlier years of BGM. You do not give up. Bonta and Firearms Policy Coalition, they're rumbling over there in California. FPC beating the shit out of Bonta, who's the attorney general over there for the state of California. Whipping Gavin Newsom's ass. The fucking lawsuit machine go brrrr. They gassing up to try to sue him for the fucking Glock ban that's supposed to be jumping off in January. Don't give up. That's not the story we tell Americans. Y'all motherfuckers ain't seen Rocky? Like all 10,000 of them? Rocky was damn near a paraplegic in one of them for owning a restaurant. Still was like, come on, let's fight. The mission is not give up, Americans. New York is lost. If that's the culture that you're advocating for, then you're going to get the policies that reflect that. Politics downstream from culture. Your culture isn't saying win on all fronts, all the areas of human activity, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, war, as the great Dr. Francis Cress Welsing broke down. But I don't want to get too deep for y'all. Pause. But we're not supposed to give up on our urban centers. That's why our work matters. That's why I'm going to ask you guys as we wrap up. We use the gun safety as the entry point to teach civics, self-reliance, freedom, and personal responsibility. This is why I keep asking y'all. It's 300 of y'all watching right now. If 300 of you gave at the $100 level, we kill this shit. Everybody that gives at the $100 level, you get access to all of the modules that I said. These are videos that come right to you. You watch them. It's easy. You get a curriculum that's printed. You can print it out. Give it to whoever you want. You get meal plans, macros, workout routines, shooting drills, private community of people helping each other. It's literally like having shooters, mechanics, gardeners, tradesmen in a group chat that you can ask questions to. It's like a freedom chat GPT. Everybody that donates over $99 or more, you get that. We need your help. So let's not just only talk about this shit. Put some fucking resources behind it. That Republican in the city of New York that's getting his ass whipped by the Democratic Socialist, he needs your fucking support. I understand it. He's fighting a machine. Ad revenue, outreach, mailers, this, that, bop, bop, bop. That shit, even social media ads. That shit, people need support. And if you say you support the people that's warriors for our cause, for liberty, for freedom, for limited government, for safer communities, civics, self-reliance, freedom, personal responsibility, conflict resolution, this is what we do. This is why we're trying to establish this one building. And then after we get that popping, get another one. Keep doing it in these major cities. We will fucking win. You are a part of it. Help. We are all a part of it. I work for y'all. I'm saying, y'all, I need this to do more work for y'all. I don't need everybody to be on the front line. That's not how armies work. It's not how war works. And best believe we are at war. This Mamdani thing has much bigger implications and ramifications if he wins. It speaks to, well, the people, this is what 8 million New Yorkers wanted this. It won't even be a conversation about stolen election, which potentially it could be. Why? Because we're not talking about it no more. Those are the same motherfucking boxes, Dominion voting machines. We ain't talking about it no more because Trump in. But he's not doing what he did the first time. So does it matter that he's in? My point in saying this is, if we want the real, we got to support the real. And I'm asking you all to support our work. I said I was only going to do these shows for 45 minutes. I'm still doing more. We got to do more. I got to talk more. I got to engage y'all more. I got to teach more. I got to send more of y'all macros, meal plans, and shooting drills. I got to make sure folks are staying on top of the Solutionary 9. I'm going to stay on top of my 9. Workout. Communicate. Still have somewhat of a private life. We want better. We got to do better. I'm asking everybody to support the work. GiveSendGo.com/solutionary. Everybody that donates, I'm going to have an email right to this phone. When this email pops off, right, I'm going to send you access to all of the stuff that I named. Help us pay it forward for others. They're going to get free classes. We're going to help buy our building, in-person firearms training. We're going to get our building. You're going to get the online version of all of these classes. Same information. One hand wash the other when we both get together and wash the face. But we need your help. The transformative information that empowers you to create the politics that is downstream from your new culture of self-sufficiency, of education, of the Second Amendment, of civics on a local to federal level. That's the culture that we need to create. We have a simple blueprint for everybody that wants that. Help us pay it forward for others so you get access to that too. GiveSendGo.com/solutionary. I'm so glad I decided to do the show again, y'all. I was off y'all. I was off y'all till November the 1st. I was literally gone till November. I was about to be gone till November. It's a Wyclef song. Hope y'all got the reference, right? But I'm so glad that I'm here with you all. I really enjoy this part of my day. I really need you guys to support the work, okay? Get a class. If you can afford $100, let's donate $25. Let's get 300 people to donate $25, okay? Fundraising is difficult. That's why I don't get at politicians that are out all of the time fundraising, meeting people, shaking hands, and kissing babies. I've ran for city council in Philadelphia. I did it, okay? I know what that's like. Point being, I understand that fundraising for giving other people resources and help, that shit is hard work, man. I don't laugh at philanthropists. I don't laugh at nonprofits that's really doing the right thing. I don't laugh at that. They have that's like the Christian spiritual practice thing to do. You are in a position a little bit, let me give to somebody else a little bit. Voluntarily. Not fucking ordinance from the government, not taxing. Okay? So anyway, guys, we need your help. Support the work. Always a pleasure to talk to you all. I will see you all tomorrow night. Other than the people that email me or shoot me DM, shoot me a DM. You want to talk about some stuff for the next 3 hours, I'll be engaging you guys. Shoot me a message, though. Shoot me a message. So, because they're starting to pile up now, just regular messages. Ain't no damn donations piling up. Support the work, though, guys. Everybody at $25 or more, I'm going to send you access to whatever class that you choose, civics, understanding imminent threat, or firearms basics. Get those classes. They're video modules. Watch them like a movie on Amazon. You pay for it. You have access to it forever. Show it to other people in your house and your family. Spread the information. If we want a better politic, we have to create a better culture. Thanks again, guys. GiveSendGo.com/solutionary. I will see you all tomorrow unless you shoot me a DM or email now or donate now. GiveSendGo.com/solutionary. Tomorrow, 8 p.m. Be safe, be solutionary.